Yo, what is up everybody? Welcome to a brand new DVD slash Blu-ray update. Yeah, of course, I am your host, Moon616. And thank you once again for stopping in. Alrighty guys, so this is going to be a massively fucking huge update. I'm going to have to split it up into 3 parts. The first 2 parts are going to be all the DVDs and special editions and box sets that I've gotten over the last month. I believe my last update was November 30th. So this is everything I've got over the month of December. And I believe there's like roughly 150 items here. Yeah, somewhere in there. Like 40 Blu-rays and maybe about 100 DVDs. So roughly, in that range. But yeah, I'm going to get right into this because, like I said, this is just a huge update. Alrighty, so first up, we've got a TLA releasing of Pervert. This is a film that I've always been curious to check out. I know it's starring Mary Carey, the girl that ran for governor of California. She's I believe she still is a porn star, actually. I know she'd retired at one point, but I think she's back making porn. I don't know. It just looks like sleazy fun, so yeah, Pervert. Next up from Wild Eye is a film that I reviewed on my 25 Days of Christmas Horror, and it's called Caesar and Otto's Deadly Christmas. It's just a fantastic Christmas holiday horror film. Fucking so goofy and funny. Plays homage to, all sorts of types of other classic Christmas horror films, like Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and 2, fucking Black Christmas, just a whole pile of other ones. But yeah, I do highly recommend this. This is a fun-ass movie. Definitely check this out. Or check out the review. Next up from Dimension Extreme is The Zombie Diaries. Now, I picked up this movie and the next one too because they were really cheap. Like, I think I paid around $2 for each of these. So I have seen this movie before and I didn't actually really enjoy it, but I also watched it really late in bed one night, so I'm not 100% sure if I was, feeling it or if I was just tired or what the fucking deal was. But it's like a found footage kind of deal. I don't know. I'm going to have to revisit that one. And of course I picked up the sequel, Zombie Diaries 2. Never seen this one. Never actually heard anything about it, to be honest. I don't really think I've seen anyone show this one off. I'm sure I have, but it's probably not that popular. So, yeah, Zombie Diary 2. Next up here from Dark Sky Films is a film called Vampire Party. Now, I've picked this one up because I collect Dark Sky Films releases, and I never actually heard of this movie. It came out in 2008. It's obviously like a vampire comedy, but I don't know, it looks pretty goofy, but Dark Sky Films always does a really good job with their films, so I had to grab that one. And it was really fucking cheap, too. Next up from Image is The Theater Bazaar. Now, I've been wanting to check this out for a long time. I never got around to checking it out. I believe it came out in, I want to say 2012 it came out. Anthology film. I've heard a lot of mixed opinions on this. I've heard some people say they really liked it, and others say they didn't really care for it too much. But, it's an anthology, so it piqued my interest right there. So I got to check this out sooner than later. And again, that was really cheap, like a couple bucks. Next up from Image is The Frankenstein Theory from this year, from 2013. It's like basically a found footage film. It's about a team a documentary team that they go out to, I guess, northern Canada. I guess it's not filmed in Canada, it's filmed in Alaska, but it's supposed to be set in Canada. It's about this guy that wants to prove that Mary Shelley's Frankenstein story was actually based on a real thing. So they go and investigate, and yeah, it's kind of like the Blair Witch in a way. Kind of feels like that. Kind of feels like a total Blair Witch Project ripoff a little bit. To be honest, I didn't quite care for this movie that much. So yeah, I don't know. Next up from Image is Cherry Tree Lane. Now, I've seen people show this one off. I don't remember if it was, if it was highly regarded, but I don't know. It looked kind of cool, so I'm going to check that one out. Next up from Full Moon is Talesman. One I've been after for a while. I could just never really find it. And found it for a real cheap price, so why not? Full Moon goodness. Next up is an anthology film I didn't even know that had come out. This came out last year, and it's called The Haunted Dollhouse. Yeah, you can see that 2 for $15. I actually ended up paying only $5 for this. It was 2 for $15 plus 30% off or something like that. I don't know. Plus an additional 30% off on Boxing Day. So yeah, The Haunted Dollhouse. It's an anthology film from Full Moon, which is super cool. Directed by Charles Band. So Yeah, I don't know why I didn't know about that one. It's weird. Next up, again from Full Moon, here's Prison of the Dead. Now, this movie just looks real shitty, but looks so awesome because, you know, it's Full Moon goodness. Love my Full Moon. Next up from Code Red. It's a film that came out in 1977, I believe. Yeah, I think it's 77. It's called The Love Butcher. This is a fucking fantastic movie, man. About these women that are getting killed off in this neighborhood. And what they all have in common is that they all share the same kind of gardener or landscaper or whatever. But the thing is, this guy has multiple personalities, and he basically plays about 5 or 6 different characters throughout the film, and no one ever suspects him because he's kind of old and decrepit and, you know, kind of handicapped a little bit. But he plays all these other characters, and that's how he breaks in there or makes his way into these women's houses and stuff by charming them and shit. And, you know, it's kind of like sexual sadistic killings and stuff. But it's a fucking fantastic movie. Great performance by the lead. I think his name is Eric Stern. Fuck, he did an amazing job in this movie. But I highly recommend this from Code Red. It is expensive because it's a Code Red DVD, but really good film. Loved it. Next up from Code Red is Trick or Treats. This is more like a kids kind of Halloween themed film. It's got David Carradine in it, about this little boy that's being babysat. His parents are magicians and they're out for the night on Halloween, and he starts fucking around with his babysitter, playing all these pranks on her and stuff like that. And you know, his dad is in a mental institution for various reasons, which are shown in the film, and he's eventually breaks out and he comes back to the house to kill his wife. But of course she's not there. It's the babysitter and stuff. But I don't know. It's not overly gory or nothing. But it kind of feels like more like a kid's film. It's weird. But it was still enjoyable. I had fun. The little kid made me laugh in that film. Next up is a bootleg, the one and only bootleg in here of To All a Good Night. Now I wanted to throw this in my 25 Days of Christmas horror, but I didn't actually receive it until after Christmas, which is fine. So, but I mean, I'll just do it next year. But yeah, I've seen this movie a couple times, and it's just a lot of cheesy fun. Directed by David Hess, of course, legendary David Hess. I still can't believe this movie doesn't have an official DVD release. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, it's just real cheesy, campy fun. I picked this up off a seller off of iOffer, and it even has a menu and shit, which I was very impressed with. But To All a Good Night, yeah, it is what it is. It's kind of cheesy. Next up from MGM Midnight Movies, Vincent Price in Theater of Blood. This is a great movie. I love this film. Finally picked up a copy of it. Yeah, what can I say? Vincent Price fucking rocks. Next up is another Midnight Movies release called The Thing with Two Heads. Never seen this movie, but you know, every time I come across these MGM releases, these Midnight Movie releases, I pick them up. So from 1972, it looks like real cheesy fun. It kind of looks like almost like a throwback to the 50s that was made in the early 70s. So I don't know. It looks kind of goofy, I guess. Excuse me. I need a drink here. All right. Next up from Vinegar Syndrome, part of the Drive-In collection here. Double feature called with Bloodthirst and The Thirsty Dead. Now, Vinegar Syndrome's doing a great job with these releases, man. Really good transfers, just really good quality. Very cool looking double packs. Generally not a big fan of these, but I'm going to start collecting all these because these are really fun. They're releasing some really cool titles, you know, obscure horror films, some, you know, real sleazy kind of lost 70s films, and even straight up XXX films and stuff too. So, but yeah, very cool stuff. Vinegar Syndrome. I have yet to watch any of these actually. I just kind of scanned through that one right there, just checking out the picture qualities and stuff, but I haven't actually got a chance to fully watch them. Next up is Death Force and Vampire Hookers. Now, I had to grab this because of I've seen Death Force before, actually. I really want to check out the transfer on this, but Death Force is actually really fun. Vampire Hookers, I've never even heard of, but it just sounds like cheesy, fucking amazing fun. There's a film called Vampire Hookers, how can you go wrong? But yeah, another double feature from Vinegar Syndrome. And the last one here from Vinegar Syndrome I got is a double feature of The Dungeon of Horror. Is it Horror? Yeah, and Death by Invitation. These are older films too, from 1962 and 1971. So yeah, Vinegar Syndrome. Next up here from Phase 4 Films is a film called Saturday Morning Massacre. Now, if you look at the cover of this movie, it probably reminds you of a Saturday morning cartoon by the name of Scooby-Doo, because theoretically it's kind of what this is. It's basically about 4 paranormal detectives that go around investigating these cases and stuff, of course with their dog. And anyways, they get a call from this big mansion or whatever. They go to investigate it and stuff, and it's basically kind of like Scooby-Doo and stuff. Now, I originally thought this movie was going to be really goofy and just full of stupid comedy, and just it looks like it's going to be ridiculous fun. But this movie was actually a lot more serious than I thought it was going to be. It still has a little bit of comedy and stuff in there, but it turns just kind of brutal. I had a lot of fun with this. I had low expectations going into it. I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. But just actually not that bad. It kind of turns into... I won't give anything away, but... I mean, if you want to check this one out, I found it for dirt cheap, but I don't know, that cover just makes it look so fucking bad, but it was actually thoroughly enjoyable, I gotta say. I enjoyed it. Next up from Phase 4 Films is Jack the Reaper. Now, I picked up this movie because it says 2 for $20 on here. I ended up paying, I think, $7 for this one, too. Because this movie has Tony Todd in it, and I was very interested to see Tony Todd in a movie like this. But, I mean, I guess that's kind of what he does these days. But yeah, I don't know. It looks like a really bad kind of slasher film set, I believe, in like a carnival or something with Tony Todd. So how can you go wrong with that? And Jack the Reaper, really? Awesome title. Next up from Phase 4 Films is Creature. Now, I've seen this movie before. I watched it on Netflix a while back, actually. And, for all the bad things I'd heard about this movie, I kept hearing it was pure shit, blah, blah, blah. I actually didn't mind this movie. I didn't think it was as bad as people are making it out to be. It definitely has some issues. I thought the creature looked pretty cool in this. But the twists in the movie are kind of, I don't know, predictable. But there was something that didn't sit right with me about the twists. I don't know. But, it wasn't as bad as... I'm going to rewatch this movie again, so I don't know. Creature. And, of course, this one has Sid Haig's in this film, actually. Yeah, I think he's in... I don't know. I can't remember the other guy's name, but... next up here from Anchor Bay is a film called The Terror Experiment. Yeah, I really don't know anything about this movie, to be honest. I have never even really heard of this one. I found it for really cheap, and it was an Anchor Bay release, so why not? I mean, they seem to be releasing a lot of low-budget shit these days. This movie is relatively new. It came out in 2012, so I'm assuming it is a zombie film. Very original. Next up from Anchor Bay is a release that came out this year, and it's called Detention of the Dead. Now, this is one I was trying to fit in before our 2013 Year in Review podcast. If you haven't checked out 22 Shots of Moods and Horror, check it out. Scroll through the videos, you'll see the videos down there, or the podcast on my channel. But yeah, anyways... this is one I wanted to watch for the year-end show, but I never got around to it. I mean, I know these zomcoms are kind of getting played out and stuff, but some of them are kind of good, though. Some of them are decent, but I haven't really heard much about this one, but check it out, so. Next up from Anchor Bay is fucking Astron 6's Manborg. Now, this movie was fucking fantastic, man. Absolutely love this movie, man. Oh, it's just so good. Basically, it's about this guy that gets killed during the armies of hell have taken over the world, and the armies are trying to fight them off. Anyways, he ends up getting killed, and he gets brought back to life in the future. He wakes up in the future, and he's basically a half man, half like machine. And now he's been made to take back the world, basically take over Count Dragulon. This movie has like the cheesiest effects, but it's done purposely like that. It's just a ball of fun. So much fucking fun. If you like Astron 6 films, Father's Day and like all the shorts that they've done, definitely check this out. It runs just over 70 minutes. It's too bad it wasn't a little longer, but fucking awesome. Came with an awesome slipcover. Yeah, and this was the Anchor Bay edition. I know this is released by somebody else, but this is just the one that I found. Next up from Anchor Bay is Daniel Harris's directorial debut, Among Friends. Again, with a very cool slipcover. I was lucking out one day finding these things with slipcovers, but yeah, it's another one of these dinner party kind of films that, eventually goes bad. It's an 80s themed murder mystery party that turns real bad for all these real close friends and stuff. One of the friends turns on them. It's got cameos by Kane Hodder in this. I talked about this on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror. If you want to know my full opinions, definitely check out that. But I honestly thought this was pretty shitty, to be honest. It sucks because it's Daniel Harris and I love her, but, the script was bad. She had nothing to work with. It's just a really bad script. Next up from Synapse is Entrails of a Beautiful Woman. Now, this is the sequel to Entrails of a Virgin. I need to get that one still, but I found this movie for about $6. So you find a Synapse release for $6, you pick it up. So yeah, looking forward to checking this out as soon as I get the first one. I didn't realize this movie was actually that old, but it came out in 1986, so that's really fucking cool. Next up from Troma is a film that I didn't even know was released by Troma. I came across this and I was like, fuck, I don't have it, so I have to pick it up. And that's Dracula vs. Frankenstein. Now, the thing that makes me laugh about this movie is that it says it's PG on the back. So I'm wondering if this is almost like a kid's kind of deal. I mean, the cover definitely makes it kind of look like it is. It looks like it's animated, but it's not. But I'm very curious to see this because I don't even know if I've ever really even heard of this one, but Dracula vs. Frankenstein from Troma, fuck, that is going to be bad shit right there. Okay, next up from Scream Factory is TV Terrors. I'm hoping this is volume 1. I hope they put out another one. And it's featuring the initiation of Sarah and Are You in the House Alone? Now, I haven't watched Are You in the House Alone yet, but I watched the initiation of Sarah. And, of course, these are TV movies. And I really enjoyed the initiation of Sarah. For a TV film, it's kind of slow, but I don't know, man. It was just fun. TV movies back in the 70s were done so fucking well, in my opinion. 78 actually had a lot of really good releases that year for TV films, but I'm so glad that, Scream Factory is putting out films like this, and they said basically they're only going to keep doing these if this one sells well, so people go out there and support Scream Factory, buy this so we can get a volume 2. I'm so curious to see what they're going to, release if they do, so, yeah. Next up from, what's the name of this company MO Pictures, is Lovely Molly. Now, I've heard nothing but good things from this one recently. Remember when this movie first came out, people were kind of shitting on it a little bit, but I don't know, as of recent, I've been hearing people talking some pretty good things about it, and I happened to come across it for really cheap, but with the slipcover, brand new, it's still unopened. I need to pop this one in. I was going to watch it the other night, and I didn't get a chance to, so... Lovely Molly. Another one from MO Pictures is a film from the UK called Grabbers. Wow, this movie was fantastic, man. I kind of had low expectations going into this. I didn't really know what to expect, but this one really fucking blew my socks off, man. I'm not going to lie. I had a lot of fun with this. I thought the creatures looked fucking awesome in this. The lead chick in this movie, I don't know what her name is, but fucking very good. She's just good looking. Very enjoyable. The characters were fun, and the whole premise behind this with the people having to get drunk to not get eaten, I just absolutely adored that idea, because that is just the funniest shit I've ever seen in a film. But yeah, Grabbers, once again, from MO Pictures, awesome slipcover, so definitely give that one a shot, man. It was really fucking fun. Next up from Scorpion is the newly released release from Katarina's Nightmare Theater, and it is Lurkers and Die Sister Die. I've yet to actually check out either of these, but of course I collect all these and I have them all now. But yeah, of course these all come with the reversible cover. I've been starting to get the Katarina thing off, because I actually prefer just with the with the regular full cover art. I think it looks better. So, but yeah, they always put out some good stuff. Next up from Something Weird Video is Fugo and The Females, like a double feature. I don't really know anything about these films, but they kind of look like softcore nymphomaniac. I don't know, they look like they're going to have a lot of tits and ass in them, so that's fucking awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. And fucking weirdest thing yesterday, So I'm on Facebook, and if you guys know who Dustin Mills is, the director, he posted up saying that he was watching The Beast That Killed Women. And I was like, damn, that's so fucking weird. I just picked up that movie. Again, from Something Weird Video, The Beast That Killed Women, in a double feature with The Monster of Camp Sunshine. Now, this shit just looks cheesy as fucking hell. I cannot wait to watch these. Now, he said in the movie, The Beast That Killed Women is really good, so I gotta check that out. But, I don't know, I really like these double features that Something Weird Video puts out. They put out the most obscure, weird shit, man. Fucking awesome. Alright, so next up from Anchor Bay is another edition of Army of Darkness, the director's cut. This is the official bootleg edition. I've been after this for a long time. I could never find a good price on it, and I got it for like $6, so I was like, you know what? Fucking awesome. You know, I love the way this edition looks. You know, it looks like a DVD-R. It's got, you know, I love this edition, man. You know, of course, from the old Anchor Bay. Love this edition. Can't have enough editions of Army of Darkness, right? Next up is just another double dip because, you know, I collect these older Anchor Bay releases. I'm trying to, you know, get my hands on as many as I can. And, of course, Nightmare City. I have, you know, the Blue Underground edition of this, too. I know Raro just put this out on Blu-Ray, too, which looks pretty cool. But, yeah, just another older edition of Anchor Bay. Had to grab it. Again, really, really fucking cheap. Just double dipping. And speaking of Anchor Bay, I finally grabbed the Beyond, the Anchor Bay release. This is, I think, my 6th or 7th edition of the Beyond. I absolutely fucking love this movie with a passion. I actually have the Arrow Steelbook in the mail right now. It didn't show up for this update, so it'll be my next one, along with Tenebrae Steelbook too. But yeah, I can't collect enough editions of the Beyond, but I was happy to get this. It was $5, so whatever. Another film from, you know, the original Anchor Bay line, and that is Cannibal Man. I also have this on Blue Underground also. Part of the video now, so this was actually one of the banned ones. It's a pretty good movie. I actually don't mind this movie, but yeah, just another double dip. And another edition of Army of Darkness, Anchor Bay edition. I already have this exact copy, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it was like $2, so I just grabbed it anyways because I'm a fucking hoarder, right? Why not? So yeah, Army of Darkness, I don't know, maybe I'll give it to somebody out there that's in need of, you know, an older Anchor Bay release, so yeah. I can see I'm running out of time for part 1 of this DVD update. Alright, so I will get into some more special editions here. Speaking of Anchor Bay, actually, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm just going to start with this one in here. So, I picked up the single disc edition of Reanimator released by Elite. Now, the reason why I'm showing this in the special edition is because I not only grabbed the single edition of this, I grabbed the double disc, you know, in the big thick pack of Reanimator, the Millennium edition, with all the special features and stuff like that. Of course, released by Elite, so these are the 2 different editions. And of course, I grabbed the Anchor Bay out of print, big box edition, which has the same double disc edition as the, you know, you can get it solo, which I have that too. But yeah, Reanimator is one of my favorite movies of all time. I found a really good price on this, so I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm finally going to pick this box set up. I love it with that syringe in there. It's fucking awesome. And yeah, so I had to grab all these, you know, Reanimator editions. And I'm so sad that I never grabbed that German media book that just came out. I know it's out of print now, and it just hurts my feelings so much that I missed out on that. I didn't even know it had come out until it was already out of print, and I was so mad that I didn't know. And I've seen people show it off, and it just looks so beautiful. I'm so mad. But anyways, yeah, all these editions of Reanimator. Next up from the Criterion Collection is Carnival of Souls. Another one of my favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love this movie. I got this movie for $8. Criterion for $8. It was used, but it's still, everything's intact. It looks brand new. It looks awesome. So, but yeah, Carnival of Souls. If you've never seen this movie, check this shit out, man. It's brilliant. The dude in this movie is so fucking creepy, man. So creepy. Next up from Criterion is the Equinox. Now, this is one I've been after for fucking ever. It's got the huge booklet in this, man. This release is so heavy. And it's got some other stuff in there. Of course, double disc again. And this is a movie from 1970. Never seen it before, but anything that Criterion releases, you know, horror-related, we got to pick up. So, yeah, Equinox is fucking major heavy. Alright, so, next up here from Shriek Show. And of course, I mean, this is just me hoarding again. I finally found a good price. I could never find this for less than about $15. And I got it for, it was $11.99 plus 40% off. So whatever that works out to. So what is that, like $7 or something like that? $6-7. Shriek Show's double disc edition of Zombie 2. Yeah, you know, with the Slipbox edition. Yeah, I have so many editions of Zombie Flesh Eaters. It's just ridiculous. And it, you know, of course, had everything in it too. Both discs were there. I always get a little worried when I buy these packs like this. It even has like the posters. I'm not going to pull everything out, but everything's there. Everything's in mint shape. So I was just relieved that I got this for such a cheap price. And I've been after this one for such a long time. So Zombie 2 Shriek Show edition, awesome. And last up, I got a couple more Anchor Bay releases here. I got the limited edition Dario Argento's Opera. This is the double disc, limited to 30,000. This is number 21,474. It's got a ton of special features on here, but the nice thing about this edition, it's one of these, you know, fat cases. Very cool stuff. The second disc is the soundtrack to the film, which is fucking awesome, done by Claudio Simonetti, of course, from, we all know who Claudio Simonetti is. Yeah, this is an edition I've been after for so fucking long. I could never find it for a good price. I've obviously been out of print and stuff, but I paid basically nothing for that. It was such a steal of a deal. And last up for this part one is another Anchor Bay release that I got for, again, dirt fucking cheap, so I had to grab it, is the Evil Dead Ultimate Edition. Finally, I never picked this up when it came out, and even when I knew it was going out of print, I still didn't grab it. But I'm glad I waited, because I think I paid $8 for this, and it was literally, like, it doesn't even look like it was ever even, it looks like the wrapper just came off it. It looks brand new, so. But yeah, it's a very cool edition, you know, it's got everything in it. Big, huge fold out. Everyone's seen this before. It's got, you know, the widescreen, full frame, and then the special features there. This is just a really nice edition that Anchor Bay put out. I think it's really nice. So, just another edition of Evil Dead to add to the collection. Love it. Very nice set. So yeah, that is going to do it for part one of the DVDs. I'm going to move on to part two right now. So, I will see you guys in a couple minutes. Peace.